see live pictures here of some of the rocks being thrown at police vehicles. The police vehicles being pelted here by wood, by rocks. This is basically a scene here, Leon and Allison, where anything these rioters can get their hands on, they are throwing. We are using that window was just shattered there, that squad car. They're using riot gear inside of the squad car to protect themselves. I've been doing this for 5 years. I have not seen anything like this before. It's tense down here, certainly tense. Looks like that we do have some tear gas in the air. I'm going to try to gather my thoughts here. We got to this scene around 3 in the afternoon. When we arrived here at the Mondawmin Mall, there were probably anywhere from 400 to 500 rioters, mostly youth. It was a very chaotic situation. Police were arriving. They have this tactical unit van. And that tactical unit van was using its lights and sirens and coming onto the curb and sidewalk to try and disperse the youth. There were a lot of this Midas here, and they were trying to do that to no avail. There are shattered windows on many squad cars. There's actually an injured officer behind this line of officers here, presumably hit by a rock, a piece of wood. We're going to remain on the scene here with updates to come, but for now, we are live in Baltimore. I'm Kevin Lewis, ABC 7 News.
All right, Kevin, you find some place to get some shelter right now.
This is green-style smoke, and I have this paper around it because it's still very hot. This was a canister that the police fired into the crowd. If you go to our Twitter page, ABC 7 News, you will see what it looked like when the green smoke was actually being emitted from this can here. I'm going to step down here. I'm going to drop the canister. I want to show you one other thing. A gentleman came up to us about 15 minutes ago and said this was fired, police fired this at him. It appears that this is a rubber bullet or a rubber pellet that came from the officers' canisters that were firing at the crowd when things here were a little bit more chaotic. Police are coming our way, and you see one guy, it looks like he's shaking some mace, but we are okay. This is mostly youth here that I think are just trying to stir up the police and not do anything more. So we are truly safe where we're at. There are no riders in front of us. It is just the police department. But you can see many of these officers have shields. Most are holding batons, and all have their helmets with the plastic cover in front.
Well, Kevin, who are they focusing on? Are they focusing on people behind you?
Well, and Jeff, if you don't mind turning to who the police are trying to run off, you can see it's just a crowd of about maybe 15, mostly youth, that have been throwing rocks. The police are now screaming, move, move, and we're going to just step out of the way here. I think it's to a point where the individuals have been loitering around this mall for so long that the police are just trying to gain full control, because there are so many other parts of the city that are seeing heavy rioting. I talked to one officer about 30 minutes ago. I said, how many police officers do you have out on the street right now? And he told me, if you work for the City of Baltimore Police Department, you are wearing your blue uniform, you are out on the street, there is no one at home, there is no one on vacation. This is all hands on deck right now. And like I said, you know, we've been here for, let's see, about 2 hours at this mall, and things are much more calm now. When we first got here, I have to say, there were chills running down my spine. You had 4 helicopters above. You had the tactical units, which you can actually see over there. The one on the left, you can see like a cream peppered on the side of that vehicle. It's because it was just getting annihilated with rocks and anything people could get their hands on. It was a very tense scene. There was no control.
Ken, you've made it there down to the ground there. Tell us, what do you see?
Leon, I'm not being dramatic here when I say it's like a war zone. This is the police line here at the CVS. It's probably 100 feet beyond us. You can see police here, again, with their wooden batons, some with the shields that are preventing any citizens from gaining access to that CVS. You can also see here, this is the new and used tire shop. The owner, or at least an employee of this tire shop, it just came up here and they just locked the gates to this tire shop here. They are obviously paranoid that their business could be looted here as the sun begins to set on the city of Baltimore. We just went to the other side of CVS. The situation, like I said there, was like a war zone. We felt it wasn't even safe to do a live report from there, so we had to retreat to where we're standing right now with lots of police protection. I want to show you some pictures that we sent to the station that I just snapped about 10-15 minutes ago. The first one is of a minivan. We were driving by and you can see some bags. You can also see what appear to be like shampoo or body wash bottles. Two individuals were loading their minivan, just stocking it full with bags that we believe were full of items taken from the CVS. We have another photo I want to show you. This is a photo of two men sitting on the sidewalk about 200 to 300 feet from where I'm standing right now in that neighborhood. It looked to us that those bags on the ground were full of prescription medicine. One would presume that medicine came from the CVS pharmacy that was heavily looted. There was a third photo that we want to show you, and it is of two vehicles, a van, and if I recall correctly, a vehicle of some sort that had been set on fire. That was just burning in the middle of the street.
Maryland Governor Larry Hogan wrapped up a press conference a short time ago. Again, Hogan has declared a state of emergency, and tonight he mapped out what's next for the city of Baltimore. Our Kevin Lewis was there. He's been in Baltimore all day and night tonight. Kevin, what's the governor saying?
Hi there, Leon. The governor, known for his mild manner, straight out called these rioters lawless gangs of thugs. He also more or less says he wishes the mayor of Baltimore had requested this state of emergency sooner.
This is lawless gangs of thugs roaming the streets, causing damage to property and injuring innocent people, and we're not going to tolerate that.
Maryland Governor Larry Hogan speaking pointedly about the mayhem in Baltimore. Around 6:30 this evening, Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blank called Hogan, asking him to declare a state of emergency. Tonight, Hogan all but said the mayor waited too long.
And our entire team has been involved from day one. But frankly, this is a Baltimore City situation. Baltimore City was in charge. When the mayor called me, which, quite frankly...
We're going to interrupt Kevin's report here and take you to Baltimore, to the mayor, Stephanie Rawlings-Blake.
We are in the heart of the Inner Harbor right now. We have the World Trade Center of Baltimore behind me. Beside that, we have the National Aquarium, and then you have the Pratt Street Power Plant, home to many stores and restaurants. And amid all of these tourist destinations, you have National Guardsmen clutching onto M4 assault rifles, and it is all because Governor Hogan declared a state of emergency for the city of Baltimore.
I called the mayor multiple times yesterday.
Governor Larry Hogan says this executive order declaring a state of emergency in Baltimore had been sitting on his desk for days.
Again.
But Baltimore Mayor Stephanie Rawlings-Blake did not request state help until 6:30 Monday evening, more than 3 hours after intense rioting, looting, and fires broke out.
We did quite a bit, but we waited until the mayor asked for us to come in. We didn't think it was appropriate to come in and take over the city without the request of the...
I asked the governor who's currently in charge of Baltimore, he or the mayor.
The mayor of Baltimore had the city of Baltimore police on the ground. Quite frankly, they were overwhelmed. All the rest of the boots on the ground came from us.
Tears came to my eyes.
Tessa Hill-Aston is with the NAACP. She defends the mayor's actions.
I just think that we Baltimoreans in our wildest dreams did not think that Baltimore young people would tear up their neighborhood.
Today, the governor boarded a Black Hawk helicopter to survey damage from above as National Guardsmen lined the inner harbor of a city in crisis.
We're not going to have another repeat of what happened last night. It's not going to happen tonight.
Now, I did speak on the phone with the mayor's press secretary some 4 hours ago. By now, we were hoping for some reply, some rebuttal to Governor Hogan's hinting remarks about a delayed response by the city of Baltimore. Unfortunately, we have nothing from the mayor's office at this hour. Leon?
All right, thank you, Kevin.
What will this week's violence mean for the city's economy in the years ahead? Kevin Lewis picks up our team coverage there with a look at this side of the story. Kevin?
Hi, Allison. It is 75 degrees and sunny here in Baltimore. A perfect evening to take a walk along the Inner Harbor. Thing is, there aren't that many people here. If you take a look to that restaurant up there, we see one couple taking advantage of the outdoor dining facility. And if you walk all over to this side of the walkway here, look at the Dragon paddle boats. There is one out on the water, the rest tied up to the dock tonight. Charm City's crown jewel, financially treading water. Yesterday, out of fear of violence, the Maryland Science Center and National Aquarium closed their doors. Dozens of field trips canceled, thousands of dollars lost.
No business. I mean, the city just messed up.
Kabi Omar Abukana has a wife and 3 children at home.
The last week, normal day, I make like 150. Yesterday I make 20. Today I make nothing.
This is certainly not putting us in very good light. It doesn't help with tourism. It doesn't help bringing in businesses.
Governor Larry Hogan now fearful of lost tax revenue. 2 conferences have already canceled at the Baltimore Convention Center. A 3rd event now rescheduled. Baltimore-based companies like investment management firms Legg Mason and T. Rowe Price also inconvenienced. T. Rowe Price closed its downtown headquarters yesterday, shifting 1,200 employees to satellite offices.
We knew this was going on before we came out here. We're out here and we still feel safe.
Yeah.
But this Colorado couple in town visiting family says Baltimore remains a wonderful city.
We don't have water. You know, we're about to jump on the water taxi. You know, it's just fun, man. It's a good place to visit.
You know, last year, 24 million people visited Baltimore, and they spent about $5 billion. This city now hoping that the terms unrest and rioting don't become permanently attached to Baltimore. We're live along the Inner Harbor this evening. I'm Kevin Lewis, ABC 7 News.
Kevin Lewis now live in Baltimore with a look at the impact this week's unrest is having on local businesses. Kevin, what are you hearing?
Hi there, Leon. You know, it's hard to find one business along this skyline that hasn't taken some sort of financial hit, and the vast majority are, at least in part, tied to that strict 10 p.m. curfew. Last call at the Hull Street Blues Cafe normally comes at 1:30 a.m. Tonight, bartenders will pour the final drink at 9.
This is a tough business to make ends meet as it is.
Owner Dan McAtee wishes the city would exempt certain neighborhoods from its citywide curfew.
It has just been very difficult to keep the lights on when 50% of your business is not coming in the front door.
And it gets worse. A number of bars at Power Plant Live purchased expensive airing rights to the Manny Pacquiao versus Floyd Mayweather boxing match. Problem is, the main event isn't expected to start until 11:30 Saturday, well after Baltimore's 10 p.m. curfew. A number of weddings and proms have also been canceled. One couple was going to say I do at the swanky waterfront kitchen along the Inner Harbor. On Tuesday, they called it off.
It's for the best, you know, it's to keep people safe.
But Tom Rivers, owner of Ale Mary's in Fells Point, is looking at the 10 p.m. curfew with his pint half full and a handgun for protection stashed behind the bar.
I'm doing whatever I can to make everybody happy, even, you know, neighborhood-wise, employee-wise. We just have to grin and bear it for a week. It's only a week.
And the Baltimore Convention Center isn't immune either. So far, 2 events have canceled. A 3rd has rescheduled. We're live in Baltimore tonight. I'm Kevin Lewis, ABC 7 News.
Thank you, Kevin. See what the weekend brings there.